Hi, our name is the Eternal Telethon. Our web address is www.eternaltelethon.com. We can totally do this, so let's imagine that we asked everybody who's watching right now to donate to the Eternal Telethon so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Just to donate directly to us via PayPal. It would be such a small sacrifice for all of you, and it could really do something for us. If you could just donate money directly to us via PayPal, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Over the years, we've done a number of things for you people out there in the public. We've done things for free. We've put performances on Ustream. They all cost us money, and right now we're asking you to donate to the Eternal Telethon. Donate it directly to us via PayPal so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Can you imagine what a great thing this would be if it would happen? We can totally ask you to do this, and we can also ask you to imagine what would happen if it happened. If everybody watching could just donate $3.12 or 78 cents even. That's all we're asking. 78 cents from everybody. Can you imagine? This would be fantastic. If you could just donate it directly to us via PayPal, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. If you could just donate to the Eternal Telethon directly via PayPal without any kind of in-between so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. We're not trying to sell you anything. We're not part of a religious group. We're just asking you to imagine the possibility of you donating money to the Eternal Telethon directly via PayPal. Our name is the Eternal Telethon. The web address is www.eternaltelethon.com. If you can just think of maybe going right now and getting online and visiting our website. We'll repeat the web address again. The Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Now, we know that some of you probably are more fortunate than others, and that it's very unlikely that everybody will be donating to the Eternal Telethon. So maybe some of you can donate more to make up for some of the people that aren't donating any. We're just asking you to imagine the possibility. If this could really happen, if you could all just donate something, it would be very fantastic, because it would be such a small sacrifice on your part, and it could really make a difference to us. It could make us closer to building an eternal convalescent home for retired artists located at the Salton Sea. So this is what we are doing right now. We're asking you to imagine the possibility of donating money directly to us via PayPal, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Maybe you saw our full financial disclosure several months ago, our public one. We only made about $2,000 towards our goal of building an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. We need money, so this would be a fantastic thing if you could actually do this. We can totally ask you to do this, so we want you to imagine the possibility of it actually happening, of people everywhere all over the country donating the Eternal Telethon 78 cents. This would really make a big impact on our life and our lifestyle. And our web address again is the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. That's what we're asking you to imagine. The idea of you donating money directly to us via PayPal. We're not selling anything. We're not part of any larger organization. We're not a gallery. We're just asking you to think of donating money directly to us via PayPal. The Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. This could really change the way we retire, and it would be such a small sacrifice on your part. Just something that you could do without even feeling it. If enough of you did it, it would be a fantastic thing. It would really make a difference towards our goal of building an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. So we're asking you to, again, to donate money to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. That's what we want you to do, or to imagine doing, is actually going right now, and going online. We know that somewhere you must have a laptop, an iPhone, a PayPal account. We think you should do it now, while you're thinking about it. Don't wait. If you put it off, it may never happen. So this is what we're asking you to imagine. The possibility of everybody out there who's watching us to donate money directly to us via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com, so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. That's what we're asking. We're asking everybody who's watching to consider the possibility of donating money to the Eternal Telethon directly via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Now we can totally ask you to do this but can't make you do it in any way, but we can totally suggest the possibility that it happen, that everybody out there actually donate something. Actually go and do it. Donate the Eternal Telethon some money so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. This would be a great thing for us, and it wouldn't cost you very much at all. You could hardly feel it. And yet, if you all united, you could all really make an impact. You could do something for us directly via PayPal. You could donate the money to us at www.eternaltelethon.com. That's the Eternal Telethon. We're asking you to donate the money directly to us via PayPal, or to imagine donating it for real. Directly to us via PayPal. Our name is the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. We're asking you to consider the possibility of actually putting $3 bills and 12 cents, or maybe a few $10 bills, in your bank account, creating a PayPal account so that it doesn't get stolen, and donating it directly to us via the PayPal button on our website, so that we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Our name again, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. This is what we're asking you to consider the possibility that if everybody contributed in some sort of small way, that we'd be almost able to build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists located at the Salton Sea. And if everybody across the country could do this, just donate 78 cents, we'd be substantially closer to our goal. We think everybody in this country could afford 78 cents. And we think you people ought to consider that this is something that could happen. You should imagine it as a possibility. This is what we want you to do. To think of, to consider donating money directly to us via PayPal, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. That's right. For you people that are just tuning in, we're asking you to consider the possibility of donating money directly to us via PayPal, because we want your money so that we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Donate it to us, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. We're asking you to consider what a great thing this would be if everybody could just donate something. We'd prefer electronic dollar bills. They're a lot easier to handle, but we would even consider a transfer of just 78 cents from everybody. We think anything less is not worth it, considering the PayPal fees involved. So we're just asking everybody to consider the possibility, the what if everybody out there could donate 78 cents or more, donate it directly to us via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. We're not part of any religious organization, any gallery. We're not affiliated with anyone except ourselves. We're private artists, just people. And we need money, and we're asking you to consider the possibility of just consider donating money directly to us via PayPal so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. That's to us, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. If you could just consider what a great thing it would be, and it would be such a small sacrifice on your part. Something smaller than a soft drink, than a candy bar even, and you cannot ever feel it, but cumulatively as a group you could really make a big impression on us. That's what we want you to do. For you people who are just sort of getting into this now, if you just consider doing it right now, it is a possibility. It is something to think about. If somehow everybody out there could be asked to think of donating the Eternal Telethon some money so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea, if you could just donate money to us, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com, That's what we're asking. We're asking you to consider the possibility of donating money to us. We don't have very much money, and we need more money. So if this could actually happen, it would be a fantastic thing. If it could just be sent to us. If you could imagine donating money to the Eternal Telethon, we're not selling you anything, and you wouldn't get anything out of it, except knowing that collectively you contributed to letting several artists retire peacefully at the Salton Sea. If you think about it, this can only happen if everybody donates something. It can only happen for a bunch of artists, and so it's totally better than not having it happen for anyone. It doesn't really affect you very much. If you just dig in and shell out something, you wouldn't hardly feel it. If you could just imagine doing that. Now we know that some of you are maybe already thinking about this. It is a possibility. It is something to think about. That if it could actually happen, of course, it can totally happen. We can totally ask you to do this, and we're totally suggesting the possibility. We're also suggesting that you think about it as something that could happen in other places, other times. If you just think about donating money to the Eternal Telethon as an actual thing that could happen, if everybody could donate just 78 cents, well, we'd hope that some people would donate more, and considering their wealth that they would donate more to make up maybe for some people that wouldn't donate any. But if everybody on the average could donate about 78 cents, this would be fantastic. It would really contribute to our ability to retire at the Salton Sea. Our name again is the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com, and we're asking you to donate to the Eternal Telethon so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. To think of donating money to the Eternal Telethon, think of what a great thing it would be if it could be sent directly to us via PayPal. We're not part of a religion or a gallery, or we're not trying to sell anything. We're just trying to bring up the possibility, the idea that everybody could donate some money. Just to consider the possibility. If you could just donate it to us, to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. If you could consider this, something that we've thought about a lot, and it could really happen if everybody thought about it, and it was something that they could do. If you could think of it happening all across the country, it's a great feeling to think of everybody just donating in 78 cents or more. You could donate it to us, to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. That's what we want you to do today, tonight, whenever, is to consider donating money to us, to think of this as a real possibility. If you could just do it, just think of doing it anyway. Just think of donating money to us so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. The Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Now that's what we're asking. If you tuned out and are coming back in, we're still asking you to consider this possibility, to think of it happening, to imagine it happening, that people could donate to the Eternal Telethon directly via PayPal so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. There's no reason why they couldn't. That's what we're asking you to think about everybody who's watching right now, to donate some sort of money to us directly via PayPal. Donate it to us, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. If you could just think of donating some sort of money to us, that's what we'd like you to consider. Donate it directly to us via PayPal. Our name again, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Again, we don't make very much money, and we need money. We need more money so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. So that's what we would like you to do, is to donate money, or to think of donating money directly to us via PayPal, to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Now think of the millions of people in this country. Now if every one of them could somehow be asked or suggested that they donate money to us, this would be fantastic. And we think that everybody would probably afford 78 cents. That's all we're really trying to consider, is 78 cents from everyone, on the average. Of course, it would be nice if some people could think of donating more money, more than 78 cents, directly to us via PayPal. Thank you. If you've thought about this, we thank you. Our name again, the Eternal Telethon. www.eternaltelethon.com. And what we're asking right now, if you're watching, is to consider the possibility. We can totally ask you to do this, to donate money to us. So just consider the possibility. If it could happen, if people could donate to the Eternal Telethon directly via PayPal. Now, isn't this a fantastic idea? If people could donate money straight to us, we're not selling anything. We're not part of a religious group. We're not part of a gallery. We're just a handful of artists, and we want your money sent directly to us via PayPal. And we're not asking for very much, but as a group, it could really make a difference. You could really make us closer, substantially closer to building an eternal convalescent home for retired artists, located at the Salton Sea, than we are. And yet, it wouldn't be painful for anyone. Now, if you think about this, it can totally happen for a bunch of artists. That's what we're asking. We're asking all of you to consider the possibility of donating money directly to us via PayPal, so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Our name again, the Eternal Telethon. www.eternaltelethon.com. That's what we're asking. If you're tuning in, if you've tuned out and are tuning back in, or you're just tuning in, we're considering right now the possibility, or trying to get you to consider, for real, the possibility of what if? What if everybody donated the Eternal Telethon some money? Everybody who's watching, what if these people could donate to the Eternal Telethon? That's what we're trying to talk about, to consider. The possibility of everybody donating the Eternal Telethon some money. Our name again, the Eternal Telethon. www.eternaltelethon.com. We're asking right now that everybody out there consider that we're not especially close to our goal of building an eternal convalescent home for retired artists located at the Salton Sea. And that we do need more money. We need money, and we need more of it. And we want you to consider the possibility of you people out there making this possible. The possibility of us having more money. If you could just consider donating the Eternal Telethon some money, our name is the Eternal Telethon. www.eternaltelethon.com. Now, if you could just really consider doing it, if you imagine the people out there, and we're sure some of you, or some of them, if you could just imagine actually doing it, it is a fantastic thought. If you could actually do it, if we could consider this as a possibility, we can really totally ask you to do this, and we're totally suggesting it as a possible thing. As something that we can consider happening. And it can totally happen. And if you can just consider it happening, of people just everywhere, all over the country donating money to the Eternal Telethon so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Now this telethon can totally reach everybody all over the world. So if we could just start, if you can just start considering yourselves right now starting to donate money. Just you people here that are watching today, go right now. If you could just consider going and getting online and visiting our website and doing it right now, then you could dip in and help us create an eternal convalescent home for retired artists located at the Salton Sea. Just get a little more money from your pockets and do it. If you could just consider doing this, the possibility of everyone who's watching donating the Eternal Telethon some money, donating money to us, to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. If you could just consider this possibility, it could really happen, and it could be a fantastic thing. If you could just consider just the idea of it happening, just the idea of everybody out there donating the Eternal Telethon some money, so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea, donating it directly to us via PayPal. Just think about this idea. It could really work. It's a fantastic idea, and it would make us closer to our goal. A lot closer to our goal. And it wouldn't cost you hardly anything. It wouldn't. It would just be something you wouldn't notice. You'd forget about it within minutes. If you could just donate to the Eternal Telethon directly, via PayPal. Just donate it to us, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. If you could donate money to us, that's what we want you to consider the possibility. Wouldn't this be a great idea if people could donate money to us so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea? Directly to us via PayPal at www.eternaltelethon.com. If you could donate some money, this would be great. If everybody out there watching right now could consider this possibility. Think of this idea of everybody grouping together and donating the Eternal Telethon some money. Everybody grouping together and putting us closer to our goal of building an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea, with no cost, hardly, to themselves. This would be great if everybody out there could donate some money. Our name again, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. This is something that we hope that everybody's starting to think about seriously. Donating the Eternal Telethon some money so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. We prefer electronic money. We would prefer electronic money, of course, because it's easier to handle. But on the average, we think if we could just get everybody to contribute about 78 cents, to donate 78 cents. We're not part of any religious organization. We don't work for anybody. We're not trying to fool you in any way. We're just a handful of artists trying to consider the possibility, or having you consider the possibility, of donating money directly to us via PayPal. Our name is the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. That's what we want you to consider, the possibility that all of you working as a group could help us build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Now this is a great idea, and we think if you think about it a little, you'll agree with us. That it's so easy for you to do. So easy for you to go down, dig into your pockets, and just pull out a little. Put it in the bank, get a PayPal account, and then visit our website, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. If you could just do that, if you could just donate money to us directly via PayPal. Now, this is what we're asking. We're asking you to consider this idea that everybody could donate money to us, just a small amount, but as a whole it would really be something. You could help a handful of artists retire at the Salton Sea, and it wouldn't happen otherwise. It wouldn't happen unless all of you donate something. So that's what we're asking. We're asking everyone who's watching right now to consider the possibility or the idea of if you sent us money. What if you sent it directly to us via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. That's what we want you to consider. Yes, donating it to us directly via PayPal. Donate money to us. That's what we'd like you to think about. Our name is the Eternal Telethon. Our web address is www.eternaltelethon.com. That's what we're asking. We're asking you to consider that we don't have a lot of money, and that it would be great if all of you could donate some. If you could consider doing this, if you could just consider the idea, conceive of the idea of donating the Eternal Telethon some money so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. This would be fantastic. Our name is the Eternal Telethon. The web address is www.eternaltelethon.com. That's what we want you to consider doing. Now we need money. And we need more money, obviously. So we want you to all consider the possibility of donating the Eternal Telethon some money so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. It wouldn't be a very hard thing for you to do. In fact, it would be quite easy. You probably pay bills every day. This wouldn't be much different. And it would be very cheap. Very, very cheap. So this is the plan that we propose. That you consider this possibility. Consider this idea. Wouldn't it be great if you could donate to the Eternal Telethon? If you could just donate it directly to us via PayPal. Our name again, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Obviously, we would prefer the largest amount you could donate, but we think even $3.12 would be sufficient. Don't you? If you could just donate some money, if you could consider this idea of everybody who's watching, and you especially, you, just donate some money so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Can you think of this idea? Can you conceive of it? Can you think of actually doing it? It would be a fantastic thing. If you could just do it. If you could just think of doing it. If you could just donate some money. Donate it to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Now, we can totally ask you to do this, and we can also totally suggest the possibility that you conceive of the idea, that you just think of doing this. Donating money to us. Yes, our name again is the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. And just with a small effort on your part, think how great this would be if all of you just by donating a small amount, but if everyone did it, everyone, everywhere did it, we would be able to retire at the Eternal Convalescent Home for Retired Artists located at the Salton Sea. If everyone witnessing this telethon did it, we'd be not retired, but a lot closer to retiring than we are. So that's what we're asking you to do, to consider the possibility of donating money to the Eternal Telethon, donating money directly to us via PayPal. Consider the possibility. Our name again, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. We're asking everybody out there who's watching to consider donating money to the Eternal Telethon. Of course, we would accept it any way you donate it. We're asking you to donate any kind of money, to consider this possibility, the possibility that all of you out there could donate money directly to us via PayPal. Our name again, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Can you consider this possibility? Just by donating a very small amount, you could help us build an Eternal Convalescent Home for Retired Artists located at the Salton Sea. We don't have a lot of money, and we need more money, so please consider this possibility. The possibility of everyone with a very small penalty to themselves, financially, could really substantially improve our chance of retiring at the Salton Sea. That's what we're asking. We're asking you to consider the possibility that everyone donates some money. Our name again, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Yes, we can almost see some of you thinking about doing this, conceiving it. Can you conceive of the idea? Isn't it fantastic? We mean, if you could actually do it, if you could just donate to the Eternal Telethon directly via PayPal. Our name again, the Eternal Telethon. Our web address, www.eternaltelethon.com. If you could just conceive of this possibility, of just dipping in, maybe getting 78 cents, $1.56, or even $3.12, maybe $30, but that's what we're asking. We're asking you to conceive of the idea of everyone who's watching us right now to donate some money so we can build an Eternal Convalescent Home for Retired Artists at the Salton Sea. To conceive of this, it wouldn't cost you very much. It would be hardly felt. But if you could just think of doing it, think of donating money directly to us via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Now, we're not part of any religious organization. We're not soliciting for any reason. We're just asking you to conceive of this notion, this idea that everybody would just sort of step sideways once with a little bit of money. Just jog sideways in one direction, and you could donate it to us. The Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Together, all of you could really make a substantial impact, and for any one of you, it would be nothing. We won't say nothing, but it would be very, very small. We're sure it's something you all could probably afford. That's what we're asking you to do right now, to conceive of the plan, of the idea of everyone donating the Eternal Telethon some money, of donating money to the Eternal Telethon so we can build an Eternal Convalescent Home for Retired Artists at the Salton Sea, donating it directly to us via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Now, we don't have very much money and we need more. That's why we're asking you to conceive of this as a concept, of a way where if all of you just took a little bit of time, a little bit of money, and send it directly to us via PayPal. We know it's going to cost you a little bit of time, But can't you see it? Can't you see yourself just doing it right now? Just going online to visit our website, pushing that PayPal link, and donating some money. Donating it to us, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. That's very simple, really. There's nothing to it. The idea is a very simple one. The idea is that all of you, working together, could make us substantially closer to retiring at the Salton Sea than we are right now. That what we're doing, we're asking you to conceive of this idea of donating money directly to us via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Now, if you've tuned out for a while and you're tuning back in and you haven't conceived of this possibility, we want you to think about it. Not just as a silly idea as something that could really happen. Wouldn't it be fantastic if it could happen? If you could just donate some money directly to us via PayPal. Wouldn't this be great? Wouldn't this be a great thing? Our name again, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. We're asking you right now because we're not a rich group, and we need more money if we're going to build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. And what is money after all? It's simply an abstraction. And if you just spend a very small amount, it's hardly anything. It's almost invisible. And you won't notice it's gone. You wouldn't. You can see that, can't you? It would hardly be anything. Yet if you all pull together, can you conceive of this idea? If you all pulled together and sent us some money, it would be great. Without making any of you in any way poor or even poorer, we would be closer to building an eternal convalescent home for retired artists located at the Salton Sea. This is what we're asking you to do, to consider this possibility. The possibility of you actually donating money to the Eternal Telethon. Now, isn't this a great plan? This would be great if you could just donate money to us. We can totally ask you to do this, and can also totally suggest it as an idea, as a concept, where everybody would just donate a little bit of money to us. Donate it directly to us via PayPal. The Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. That's what we're asking. We're asking you to consider this as a possibility, as something to do, something to think about. What if everybody could do this? And everybody could, actually. It's just, if you could just think of it, conceive of it, just donate just a little bit. If you could think of donating the Eternal Telethon some money, now we think this would be great. If you could just dig into your pockets and just donate a little bit towards us. We're not selling you anything. We're not part of any union. We're not part of a religious group. We're not a gallery. We're just people, artists, and we need money. And we would like you to donate it directly to us via PayPal, or to consider this possibility, the possibility that if all of you sent us something, that we would be close, or closer rather, to building an eternal convalescent home for retired artists located at the Salton Sea. If you could just consider doing this, donating money directly to us via PayPal. Our name again, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Now, this is a strange thing for you to be asked to consider, but if you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. It's sort of a great idea. If all of you could just scoot a little our way, so to speak, if you could just donate a little bit of money. Now, isn't this a great concept? If you could just donate money directly to us via PayPal at www.eternaltelethon.com. That's all we're asking, that you consider this possibility, that you consider this an idea, as a plan, as a concept, that if everybody could donate money directly to us via PayPal, we would be closer to building an eternal convalescent home for retired artists located at the Salton Sea, and it would be such a painless thing for you to do. That's what we're asking you to consider. Donating money directly to us via PayPal. The Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. We're asking you right now to consider this as a possibility. We know it may sound strange, but think about it. If everybody could donate just something, wouldn't that be great? if you can consider this possibility, wouldn't this be a great thing? If you could just donate something so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Our name is the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. And we're asking right now that everyone donate something, that you consider this possibility as a concept, as an idea, that just by donating the Eternal Telethon a little bit of money, just a small amount on your part, something that you wouldn't even feel. Now if you all do it, or if you all could do it, or if you all did it, we would be on our way to building an eternal convalescent home for retired artists located at the Salton Sea. We could be closer than we are by a lot. And that's what we're asking you to do right now, is to consider this as a possibility. Now, if you're tuning in again, we want you to think seriously about this concept. Think about this concept. Think about the concept of donating money directly to us via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. That's what we'd like you to think about. How fantastic would it be if everyone could just take a small amount of their money and donate it to us? This would be great. We would be close to building an eternal convalescent home for retired artists located at the Salton Sea, closer than we are, and none of you would be substantially poorer. It would be almost as if it didn't happen for you, but it would really happen for us. This is what we're asking. We're asking you to consider this as an idea, as a concept. The concept of everyone donating the Eternal Telethon some money. Now, we think it's something you ought to think about, donating money directly to us via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com is the website. Yes, you may have heard it before, but we're still asking you to consider this possibility, the possibility of you donating money directly to us via PayPal so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Now, isn't this a great idea? It would be great if you could do it, if you can consider the possibility. We can totally ask you to do this, and we can also suggest the idea, the concept of it actually happening. We think you can conceive of it happening, conceive of actually going online and visiting our website and donating some money. Can you conceive of doing that? Our name again is the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Now, it's something you could actually do. It is something that you could actually do right now. You could leave our telethon and go and do it. Or you could continue witnessing our telethon, but the idea would be to donate some money. That's what we want you to conceive of this possibility. Now, wouldn't this be fantastic if everyone could just donate a little something, and together as a group, it would really be something substantial to us. You could, all of you out there, you could help a handful of artists to retire at the Eternal Convalescent Home for Retired Artists located at the Salton Sea. You, with just donating a very small amount of money, could do this. You could help some artists retire. Wouldn't this be fantastic? Because it wouldn't cost you very much to do this. If all of you could just think of doing this, wouldn't this be fantastic? Of donating money directly to us via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Can you conceive of this idea? We don't work for anybody. We're not part of a gallery. We're not trying to sell you anything. We're just trying to have you conceive of the idea of everyone who is watching this, who's tuning in, who's tuned out, and is tuning in again to donate some money so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Think about this. If you could just donate a little something. Our name again, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Now, we don't have very much money, and we need more money, so we'd like you to consider the idea of donating money to the Eternal Telethon, of donating money directly to us via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. That's what we're asking you. We're asking you to think about it, of actually, you can conceive of it, can't you? Actually doing it. It's so painless. It would be so painless for all of you to do it, and yet it would be great, a great thing. if you could just think of doing it, think of actually going online, visiting our website, clicking on the PayPal link, donating some money so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. If you can conceive of this idea, we're sure if you all could think of going that far, you can probably imagine that the money might be donated afterwards. Because once PayPal buttons usually are clicked, the money gets donated. So we want you to consider this idea, the idea of everyone out there donating the Eternal Telethon some money, so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. It's just an idea, it's just a concept, but wouldn't it be fantastic? Wouldn't it be fantastic if all of you could donate money directly to us via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon? www.eternaltelethon.com is the website. So that's what we're asking right now. We're asking you to consider the idea of donating money to the Eternal Telethon. Donating money directly to us via PayPal. Yes, this may at first seem like a strange thought, but actually it makes a lot of sense, because just a few dollars, a few cents from all of you, from each and every one of you, could substantially contribute to our goal of building an eternal convalescent home for retired artists located at the Salton Sea, to making us closer to retiring than we are right now, a lot closer, and it would hardly cost you anything. That's what we're asking you to conceive of. The idea of all of you out there donating money directly to us via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Yes, it's really a pretty simple concept, but can't you think of how wonderful it would be and how painless it would be for all of you, and how wonderful for us? It's hardly asking you anything, just to conceive of donating money to the Eternal Telethon so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Can you think of this as a concept, as an idea of donating money directly to us via PayPal? It's a very simple thought, and we need money. Can you conceive of doing this? Our name is the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Can you just conceive directly to us via PayPal? It's a simple thought, and if you could just donate something, think of it. Wouldn't this be great if all you could just donate a little something to us? Just by donating the Eternal Telethon a very small amount, you could substantially contribute to our goal of building an eternal convalescent home for retired artists located at the Salton Sea. That's what we're asking. We're asking you all to just chip a few our way. And the total force of all of you would make something happen. And it would hardly be anything for all of you. Think of this. Think of donating money to the Eternal Telethon directly via PayPal so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. It's not a bad idea, and it would be so easy if it could happen. If everyone could just donate a little something to us. Our name, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Now, we know this may seem strange, like a strange idea, but if you think about it just a little bit, it's actually quite simple, and it would be such an easy thing for everyone to do. Painless, too. It would be a painless thing for everyone, because it would be the money. You wouldn't even feel it. A day from now, you could forget about it. Yet, for us, we would remember it for the rest of our lives. That's what we're asking. We're asking you to consider the possibility of you donating some money to us. Donating money to us so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Donating it directly to us via PayPal. The Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. We need money. We don't have much money, so we're asking you to consider what a great thing it would be if everyone could donate some money to us. It would be so simple for everybody to do. Can't you see that? It just wouldn't be hardly anything, and yet if all of you grouped together, you could really make something happen. We know it may sound like a silly idea, but if you really think about it, it could happen. It's not inconceivable. It can only suggest the idea to you. But if all of you could donate some money to us, think about that. Our name, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. We're asking you to consider this as a real, something to really think about, as a concept. The idea of everybody just donating something. Now, wouldn't it be fantastic if you people that were more fortunate could donate something more substantial but we think the real important thing is that everyone think about donating something. Just consider this possibility. It's not a bad plan. If you could just donate something, think about it as a possibility, as a concept. Just donating some money to us so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. It's just an idea. It's not something we can make you do. We just want you to think about it as a concept. The concept of everybody, by contributing a very small amount, could really make something happen. It's by all pushing in one direction, you could really substantially improve our chances of building an eternal convalescent home for retired artists located at the Salton Sea. And it would be so painless for you, so painless to donate a little something. It's not a bad idea, is it? Think about it. If you could just think about doing this as a possibility. If you could just think about donating money directly to us via PayPal. Do you think this is a possibility? Do you think this is something you can think about? The concept of everybody just jogging a little towards us? Stepping to the left? Everybody doing it at once? And all of a sudden it would be something substantial? And it would be such a small and minor thing for you to do. Yet if you all did it, it would be fantastic. It would really be something if you could just all do it. Our name, the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Can you think of this idea? Think of it spread throughout the whole country? If only everybody in the whole country could donate just 78 cents, wouldn't that be great? It certainly would for us. And it wouldn't be hardly anything for anybody. 78 cents. Everybody's got an extra 78 cents. So it's such a simple idea, such an easy thing to think about. And that's what we want you to think about right now. The possibility of this happening. Of people donating money to us so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Donating money to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Is this something you can think about? Is this something you could really think about doing? Going online, visiting our website, clicking on the PayPal button, donating to us. The Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. This is something we want you to think about. We don't have a lot of money, and we need more money. And if people everywhere could donate to the Eternal Telethon, we would have it. This would be a great thing. Just think of this possibility, of everybody donating the Eternal Telethon a little bit of money. If you all sent us some money, we'd be close to building an eternal convalescent home for retired artists located at the Salton Sea. Closer. If you could just donate money to us, to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Now, that's all we want you to consider. The possibility of donating money directly to us via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. It's such a simple idea, and it's so painless for all of you. It's such an easy thing. Can you conceive of doing this? Just taking some amount of money and donating it to us so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Can you think of doing that? It would be so easy. It's as if the money was invisible for you, yet all of a sudden it becomes visible for us. It's so easy. In such small amounts, it's invisible. But when it's all put together, it's like the old story of the trees in the forest. If you could just do it, you could make it happen. An eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea. Can you conceive of doing this? Actually donating us money? Donating money directly to us via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Could you donate? Could you think of doing that? Donating money to us so we can build an eternal convalescent home for retired artists at the Salton Sea? It's so easy. It's so painless for you. And it could be such a great, great thing for us. We would remember it. You would forget it. Could you think of doing that? Can you think of this possibility? The possibility of donating money to the Eternal Telethon directly via PayPal to the Eternal Telethon, www.eternaltelethon.com. Thank you.